It's the last race before the summer break of 2021. Welcome to the beautiful city of Budapest for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It's the 11th round of the Hamilton and Verstappen fight for the championship in 2021. After this race, we take 3 weeks off for a summer's break before going on for a triple header. The Belgian Grand Prix, the Netherlands Grand Prix, followed then by the Italian Grand Prix that will host the second F1 sprint. A 2-week gap before the Russian Grand Prix, the Turkish Grand Prix on the first weekend of October, Japan 7 days later, and a little break before we go over and race on for the United States Grand Prix, the Mexican Grand Prix, and the Brazilian Grand Prix. The race on the 19th to 21st of November are still to be confirmed, and at the moment, Saudi Arabia is on the 5th of December, with the season concluding in Abu Dhabi on December the 12th. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen now leads the way by just 8 points to Lewis Hamilton. Lando Norris is holding on to third place in the McLaren alongside Valtteri Bottas and a strong charge from Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc has moved over 12 points ahead to Carlos Sainz. They're 18 points and 20 points clear of Daniel Ricciardo in 8th. Pierre Gasly is 9th, he's 9 points clear of Sebastian Vettel, rounding out the top 10. On the second page, Fernando Alonso follows Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda with the drivers in double points, 1 point apiece for Raikkonen and Giovinazzi, and still no points for Russell, Schumacher, Latifi or Mazepin. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull lead by just 4 points to Mercedes. McLaren have a healthy advantage over Ferrari. Then it's a battle further back between AlphaTauri, Aston Martin and Alpine, all separated by 9 points. Alfa Romeo only have 2 and still no points for Williams or Haas. It's the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix and this is your Grand Prix preview. We're 2 weeks on from that controversial crash at Silverstone between Hamilton and Verstappen. A 51G impact can't keep the Dutchman out. He's back for vengeance this weekend at a track that Lewis Hamilton has won at 8 times previously. But Megan Burch alongside me for this weekend in the commentary box. The championship is on Verstappen's side. 8 points between them at the moment. We're in for a showdown before the summer break.
We really are, and it's kind of brought that championship kind of more together and made it even more exciting because now it's just like, oh, will they lose the championship lead? Will they not? It's just like that kind of feeling.
2 weeks on from the British Grand Prix and everything has ever so slightly changed, mainly because as we announced late on Sunday evening after the British Grand Prix, Red Bull intended to protest the decision of a 10-second penalty for Lewis Hamilton. That was done, and it was officially announced midweek, and now here today on the Thursday morning, it was announced that please could you report to the stewards. They met at 4 o'clock over in Hungarian time as well, so that was about an hour and a half ago here in the UK. And finally, the news coming out that we've heard is that there will be no further penalty for Lewis Hamilton after the British Grand Prix. So he does keep victory there. Red Bull's new data, we understand, was a telemetry GPS tracker which compared Charles Leclerc's overtake against Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen's opening lap overtake with Hamilton, in which Hamilton, when he was racing with Leclerc, was able to use the inside line more at Copse Corner than he did on Verstappen. Megan, we were commentating at the time. It was a horrific accident. But as we said during the red flag period, it was always going to come at some point this year. They've been hitting each other numerous times.
I mean, in every great battle between two people, I mean, you're going to have at least one conflict between both of them causing it.
Did you expect it to come at Silverstone, though? It very much was Hamilton's
I had a feeling.
battleground.
I mean, it is quite a tight track considering how many races it's been there. You would have thought they would have expanded it just a little bit. So it's not really that surprising that it came at an important race.
Absolutely, and now Verstappen comes into this weekend as well with memories of 2019, that race that really began their rivalry. With Hamilton chasing Verstappen down and passing him with 3 laps to go. We were on Concam that day as well, so we're trying to edit together a feature for Saturday and qualifying day as well. But the Hungarian Grand Prix been host to numerous things over the years. It's seen so many first victories in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton's second ever victory came here, the same as Daniel Ricciardo, after both of theirs came in Canada. But in terms of first victories, 2003, Fernando Alonso. 2008 was Heikki Kovalainen as well. And it's a fantastic racing circuit as well. And it's tight, it's twisty. They describe this place as Monaco without the barriers as well.
It is.
And in the wet, what we could have on Sunday, Megan, how much of a race are you thinking we're going to have? How close is it going to be as we look at turn 1?
I think that the race might be decided, like, in terms of who's going to keep leading this race unless something happens, maybe about 25 laps in.
So right about the end of the first pit stops. Yeah, because it should be a one-stop race if it's dry. 70 laps,
exactly.
A one-stopper, yeah.
So it's just all about who has a upper hand, and I think might prove to be quite a dramatic race, since we've seen it be quite dramatic in previous years.
Yeah. Absolutely can't wait. This is my favourite bit of the track that we're about to see on lap attack again, the chicane down at 8 and 9. It tightens it all up and goes into the Monaco segment as well. Right, we'll get more onto what happened on Thursday and Media Day after we take a look around the Hungaroring on F1 2021 by EA Sports and Codemasters, because it's Fernando Alonso's 40th birthday today. First of all, happy birthday, Fernando. We will be riding along this weekend for the lap attacks in his car, the Alpine, for 2021. Here's lap attack. Let's take a look around the Hungaroring here in Budapest. 2.738 miles, 14 turns, 2 DRS zones, all located after turns 1 and 2. It's a tight, twisty track. They call it Monaco without the barriers. Start the lap then. Got a good exit out of the last corner and hammer it down towards turn 1. Flat out 8th gear before a tight hairpin corner for the first one. Drop down, 2nd gear, control the exit speed as well. Open up the DRS immediately and hurtle once again downhill towards turn 3. Take a wide line at the exit as well. Catch the grip at the exit to get a straight line for a kink up the hill at 4. Ride the exit curb and now turn 5. Flat out, drop down 2 gears if you need as well, so you don't run off and carry dead speed throughout the corner as well when the car's lagging. Uphill through turn 6 as well. The 7-8 chicane I find fascinating. Brake down all the way. 3rd gear corners, the curbs are notorious for causing the car to bottom out and spin round. This is the Mickey Mouse section of the track then, through turns 10 and 11. 12 and 13 shaping up quite nicely as well. Hook the inside line with a full throttle accelerator. Downhill now. Turn 12. Late on the brakes. Down. 3rd gear corner. Accelerate the exit. Use the exit curb as your friend. I love this part of the track as well. It's turn 13. A concrete inside curb provides a fantastic amount of grip. Turn 14, uphill as well. The car wants to drift out wide with oversteer. Control it. Hurtle it towards the line. And that is a lap of the Hungaroring here in Budapest. Okay, let's take a look at what happened on Thursday in Media Day, and starts off with the drivers that we've got so far. Yuki Tsunoda says that his first half of his Formula One rookie season was more like a roller coaster, and it has been like that. Crashed out in qualifying 3 times, started further back as well, only had a handful of points finishes. It's been a tricky one for somebody who was so highly rated coming into Formula One.
It has been quite tricky, though. He's got to be proud of the fact that of all the rookies this year, he's got the most points, because the other 2, they don't have any points right now, so he must feel quite...
Nearly dropped my phone.
He must feel quite confident right now.
Buzzing with all the information coming in as well. I took it off the desk and just caught it between my legs. That was very close as well. Nicholas Latifi, optimistic for qualifying as well. He's closing in on the gap that he had from last year, and Latifi was actually very close to being qualifying 2 back in Silverstone. It's getting close for him.
Yeah, I think he might be finally starting to realise, it's like, I need to get my gaming gear right now, so just hurry up as fast as I can. And it's unlikely that he'll be able to outqualify George. I mean, he's never been able to. Not many people have been able to, actually. Though he is good.
Speaking of George Russell, he said he wanted his future for 2022 to be announced before the summer break or just after. Rumour is that pretty much strong now that he is going to go to Mercedes to replace Valtteri Bottas. Do you expect an announcement this weekend, or would it mainly come maybe
They might wait
on?
till after the race is concluded.
So sometime over the summer break it'll drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it'll just be more peaceful transition, and people won't have a bad eye for Mercedes in what they do with Valtteri.
Is that done deal, do you think? Russell to Mercedes alongside Hamilton, that's done and dusted. It's already written down, contract done?
I think it might be. Yeah.
On to Valtteri Bottas. His 2021 Formula 1 season, and so far, as he's been quoted, has not been great. It has not, has it? It's been a terrible year for Valtteri.
It has been, and I think that's because he's not in a good environment for the team. I mean,
Winless.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, yeah. He would be the first Mercedes driver since Michael Schumacher not to win a race in a season where the car itself has won. That was 2012 and 13. Sorry, 2012. Michael didn't win. Hamilton and Rosberg won in 13. So both Mercedes drivers have won at least one race since 2013. And Valtteri would be the first one since Schumacher to break it. That's just shocking. Shocking. On to Max Verstappen. Max says he won't change his approach to racing despite having received a phone call for Lewis Hamilton. It was announced that Hamilton had phoned Max Verstappen just on the night after the British Grand Prix to check he was okay, and they had a long discussion. They won't tell us what it was. But hopefully that the racing respect remains between them. I don't think they should have changed, but it was a racing incident in my opinion, 60-40.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60% Hamilton, 40% Verstappen.
Yeah.
What do you think on the Verstappen angle there? Was that too much of Max taking it too far with the Red Bull appeal, or was it both of them trying to take it a little bit too far, both a little bit unsporting on their part?
I think everyone just needs to calm down with it, just because it was dealt with.
Yeah.
I don't see why anyone needs to really carry it on. I mean, 10-second penalty. That's. I would have given him a 5 personally.
No. I think the 10-second penalty was the maximum they could have given him.
If there was something in between that, like a 7-second 0.5.
Yeah, personally, I don't think it should have been. It was a racing incident, in my opinion, because it was lap 1. They were already banging into each other. Verstappen already had something wrong with his car as well because he was drifting out, and Hamilton had understeer as well, and Verstappen's done the same moves. But I think Max, coming into this weekend, has got to go full throttle and beat Lewis ahead. We've seen him do it before.
Yeah.
We've seen him do it numerous times this year. Lewis has got to do exactly the same. They've got to take this title fight up to respect both their teams, to respect Formula One, to give the fans something to shout about and something positive to shout about, because also the amount of racial abuse from fans, I say fans with a very loose term, a lot of racial abuse aimed at Lewis Hamilton's way after the British Grand Prix, which is absolutely ridiculous as well, and not good at all. And Lewis was asked about it actually by Luke Smith, a journalist, and he said, how did you feel about it? And Lewis said, for the first time in my Formula 1 career, when stuff like this happens, I didn't feel alone, which I thought was quite nice. The drivers all sort of gathered up, and on the Monday after when the tweets coming through, we saw Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris, Sebastian Vettel, nearly every Formula One driver tweeting their support for Lewis, and every F1 team, Red Bull doing the same thing as well. Racism has no part in Formula One. It's ridiculous that was the course to take an action. Lewis is an 8-time world champion. He knows what he's doing. Verstappen is the young, upcoming great. He's the next one along. They both know what they're doing. Lewis, yes, is more experienced than Max. Max has the raw talent. Lewis has the same raw talent, but has got more experience. Occasionally, they're going to butt heads. It's not going to be all plain sailing. So people need to learn and accept that, and then go, like we did actually, oh my God, they've crashed. This is brilliant for the title fight.
Yeah, because it just I don't see why everyone was doing that. I mean, it's a crash happened in Formula One. This wouldn't happen if it was any other driver getting this type of abuse thrown at them. Just because it was Lewis, a lot of people just started racially abusing them. I was just like,
During
why?
the race as well.
Yeah, just like, why?
It's ridiculous. I hate it. Tell you one thing though as well. I personally enjoyed that race because I think we said the same thing when Lewis was running away with the title after he took victory in Portugal and Spain, and he had a 30-something point gap. It was quite big. I said, "Oh well, this is terrible. This is Hamilton."
It takes excitement out of it.
I said, "This is Hamilton running away with the title." I said, "Let's get Max back in for winning the next couple of races," and he did.
Yeah,
and he won the next couple of races as well, and the fight was back on. And now, but then Max had the 32-point gap, and I was like, oh well, this isn't sporting, because Red Bull have won the last 5 races. This isn't working out well. Hamilton hasn't won since May. Is this the change in the guard? Are we now going to be in for another boring second half of the season? And then that crash happened at Silverstone, and I was like, oh my god, in my head, commentating on it, my brain thinks slower than my mouth does. So I've got more I was watching that, and I've got more time to process what I was going to say. And I was thinking to myself as well, oh my god, this has done it. This kicks it back up. And then Hamilton won the race, and I was very excited because now 8 points the gap between them in the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull and Mercedes separated by 4 points in the Constructors' Championship. Going into the summer break, this has lined it up perfectly for the second half of the year when we start the flyaways. This championship is not going to be decided until the last round, and that's what we wanted. We need every now and then something like this to come along. Verstappen has a couple of bad races, Hamilton catches up. Hamilton has a couple of bad races, in comes Verstappen. We need that to and fro to make it a really exciting year. And anybody watching as well, do you agree with me? Would you rather see Verstappen dominate and win it easily, or Hamilton dominate and win it easily, or would you prefer to see an actual on-track fight where the title ebbs and flows to the last race, where we can't decide what's going to happen? I want that. And many people also have said to me, oh, well, you're British Hamilton supporters. Well, one of us, Dad, very much a Hamilton supporter, but I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan like that. I'm not a commentator. I try and remain as impartial as possible, and I say in right now the fact that I do not care if Hamilton wins the world title, and I don't care if Verstappen wins the world title. Both deserve it. Both have given us amazing races, and I've been just as speechless over both of them this year. And I'm really hoping as well. Lewis won his home race. The crowd were in our ears. It was fantastic. What an atmosphere. And I'm really hoping, sadly, we can't get to the Dutch Grand Prix this year as well. But I'm really hoping that the Dutch fans race Max on. And I really hope that Max wins the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I don't really care who wins it either. And vote, if you just like, out of everyone, who do you want to win? I wouldn't say Lewis. I would say Alonso. Because obviously I've some reason I can't go against Alonso because he's my favourite driver. He was the driver to win my first season of when I was born. So
you see, it's exactly that as well. And it's so important that Formula One has that neutral fan perspective. I know many people support one driver, but I know quite a lot more people who watch it because it's a sport. Yeah. And you seriously tell me, Kimi Räikkönen's on our screen right in front of us now, appearing in the comms box. I love seeing Kimi race because I remember that opening lap he did at Portimao last year, around the outside of 14 cars. George Russell, every time he gets into qualifying, fantastic.
Sergio
Perez winning in Azerbaijan and in Bahrain last year. Romain Grosjean, when he had his accident, how petrified I was watching him on the screen. And I'm loving it. I'm loving this season. I'm sure you are too. Yeah. Coming into this weekend, this is the last one before the summer break. So we've also got the W Series this weekend, and they're halfway stage of the year, round 4 of 8. Alice Powell and Jamie Chadwick very much closing together.
They are quite close in the title. I think only 8 points separate
them too. Yeah. Who do you think is going to come out on top this weekend, Jamie or Alice? It's only been British dominance as well, so
I'm not sure. It seems to keep going between the two. I think that Jamie might have a little bit of an advantage this weekend because after last weekend, she's going to want to keep fighting.
Fabian Volverend, second in Silverstone, looking quite quick.
Fabian is doing quite well, and I think she will actually be quite I think she might be kind of a threat maybe in the foreseeing races towards Chadwick and Powell.
It's going to be good. It's going to be very, very good. Okay, so here's your coverage details for this weekend. We are back to our usual 3 practice sessions, a qualifying and a race format. Here we go. Practice on air at 10:20, the session underway at 10:30. Practice 2 on air at 1:50, session underway at 2. Saturday, you can see practice 3 at 10:50, session underway at 11. Qualifying is at 2 o'clock. We're underway on our stream at 1:40. And straight after at 3:20, you can watch the W Series as well. And on Sunday, it is Formula 1 action from 1:30 British Summer Time for all of the action for the Hungarian Grand Prix. A reminder that we've also got the return of the Quit Fit British Touring Car Championship coming to you from Alton Park this weekend as well. That'll be live on Sunday for the first race. Race 2 will be delayed and race 3 will be live once again as well. Ian Burch also joining the commentary team this weekend once again. He'll be with me for free practice 2. Megan with me tomorrow morning for free practice 1. It's going to be a good one. Megan, predict a Friday pace setter, please.
I think that it might be... I'm going to say Bottas is going to be quite...
competitive.
Yeah.
Finally. Could do with winning a race. Okay. Well, thanks to Megan, and my thanks to all of you for watching as well. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, a little less hair on the sides and definitely a lot less hair on the face as well. We'll be back tomorrow for first practice at 10:20 British Summer Time. The streams will be available later on today for sending reminders as well. My thanks to you all, and it's goodbye from Hungary. See you tomorrow.